What are we going to be talking about today? Well, I'm going to be embarking on the endeavor of trying out doing some texturing, and I figure why not start off with the Kel-Tec, because you can get, new grip modules for relatively inexpensive even to this day. So what am I going to be using? I'm going to be using handy old Harbor Freight Dremel type device or a rotary tool. I'm going to be using a variety of different bits. I don't know which ones will come in handy or not. I just wound up getting a handy dandy set for my soldering iron, which is also from Harbor Freight Tools. So this is all low budget stuff. This I found in the clearance section for I think like 40 bucks, and it is, let me see. Of course it doesn't say on here how many watts it is, but this thing works, 50 watt, okay. So it's a 50 watt soldering station, and we're gonna start off with some sanding because you got to get rid of this little grippy stuff right here. I don't know if I'm going to go on the front. I probably will. I don't know how I'm going to texture it yet, but we've got to start off somewhere. So we're going to start off with sanding. Showing a little bit of progress here. So this is my first time. Be prepared for it to look really funky. Hopefully I can clean it up in the end. I'm doing this all by hand, so it might be a little fast. I'll slow it down a little bit, see if I can clean it up, but I switched over to one of these, see if it'll focus on this bit here. Just a little tiny round ball, something like this, but in a round ball to carve the border. And we'll see where it goes. So that's progress so far. We'll check back with you in a few minutes when I'm working on this a little bit more. Back in, so I've got a couple of different textures here. As you can see, I went with a little round all the way around with the border, and then I went with the crisscross pattern with the chisel tip. I don't know if I like it or not yet. It's very grippy, so it definitely does what you would want it to do as far as grip goes. It just doesn't, quite look as cool as it might. We'll see if I can clean it up and see where it goes. So we'll check in here in a few. All right, so we got this side done. We got a little bit on the front. I got this side sanded and a little border on there. So not looking obviously like a professional. This is my first time trying it, so the cool thing is these are not terribly expensive, so I'll buy a couple and practice on these rather than practicing on my Glocks, which are a bit more expensive. You got to spend $100, go through FFL, blah blah blah. So that's progress, and we'll check back here in a few. So you can see this side, the textures look really big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a smaller round, and I'm going to use a smaller chisel so that hopefully it doesn't look so gnarly. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so far from perfect, but this is my very first attempt at doing texturing on, well, not texturing, I guess. I have used just a soldering iron tip to give little stipples. So this is the first time I've tried any sort of texturing beyond stipples, and this was just put back together, so it is completely, oh well, it's a Kel-Tec, so it may not be safe, but there's no ammo in it. So you can see I learned from my mistake on the first side, and I used all the biggest chisels and dots, and it looks kind of, not so good. And then on the second side, you can see I used the smaller chisel and smaller dots on the surround, and it looks a lot better, although it's far from perfect, right? One note is that borders are very hard to carve, right? I did these by hand. I didn't, write anything out like with a pencil like I probably should have on here, but for a first attempt, I'm not too sad about it, right? It doesn't look perfect by any stretch, but it came out decent, right? And that's what I was hoping for, to not ruin the entire thing. And some people might say it's ruined, that's fair enough to say. That's your opinion. I like it. It's super grippy, right? I had just a little bit of grip tape right on here previous to this, and it actually made all the surfaces really grippy, right? And I gave a little bit of a back cut here, which I think turned out good. It's easier to push the button, right, and sanded off some of the material, and then it got raised back up once I used the Dremel. But that's how it turned out, right? So I'm gonna probably order up some more of these grip frames and see if I can't do a better job and come up with some better texturing for the next one. All right, y'all. If you like my content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.